Howdy chaps, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a bit of a end of week update, as the last video would have seen I was playing with my RC car, and I know that not many people gave a flying rat's proverbial about that, but I didn't care. I did it for me, and I enjoy it, so that's why I put it up. So the last actual video would have been the Wagon Part 2. I have since finished that wagon, well, to the point where I now need to save some more money and progress it even further, but we got a fair bit done, and I'll show you that in a second. There's been a few updates, so I'll fill you in right now. Alright, you might notice that the wagon is looking a little bit better. It's actually got the motor and trans back in. That was not the funnest job, but it wasn't actually that difficult. I've actually worked out after putting it in, I've got to replace probably the throttle body because there's a crack running through there, which kind of sucks. But anyway, as you can tell, rails are painted, looking lovely. That's back in. Ended up buying washer bottle and all the junk that basically fits on the front so that I could put that on in one piece and not have to take it back off again. Suspension's back in, rails painted. You know, the keen observers, I had a hard time trying to match the amount of overspray and satin coloured and stuff like that, but I think I did okay. I still got to get all the panels painted, but that's pretty much where we got with that. I've still got to hook up the gearbox and you know, gear selector and put the exhaust back on and a few things, but I sort of made a really good amount of progress last week, and it was fantastic for my mental health. Taking a break and doing something for myself, so it's now all done, and now I can, it also tidied up the workshop because the motor was sort of sitting out here and now it's up in there. And you also, enough of that now, you might notice that the cars are different. The XC Coupe has left the building finally, and the XD is now hiding in its place. You might notice the rear bumper bar is on, as well as the exhaust panel. So that's been an update. The XC Coupe left and is now, I believe it's advertised on Gumtree for 45 grand, which is a lot, but it's not my price to choose. I personally, I've seen a few coupes for sale and people got price tags of 100 grand. I'm thinking to myself, really? Really? Oh well, it's not my world to judge. But anyway, that's on Gumtree if you want to go look at that. It's for sale in Adelaide. The XD is now over here residing, and I've just pulled the cover back so you can have a look. Gave the bumper bar a bit of a tickle. It turned out okay-ish. There's not a lot you can do with them. I had to basically sand all of the junky, like almost hand painted on black paint that was on, sand it back to its rubber, and then give it a plastic prime and then some proper like rubber paint to go on it. And obviously the exhaust panel was fairly straightforward, you know, straighten up, bit of bodywork and paint, and finishes up the back of the car quite nicely. Up here we also have the inserts that go in there, and here they are here. They're supposed to be chrome, like that sort of sticker chrome, but about the best we could do is, because I had no way of doing it, so I've just bought some sort of cheap rattle can chrome paint. It's actually it looks a little chromy. Not great, but you know, it'll serve the purpose. And we've been working on some of the other panels. The front bar is down. These are another rubber sort of mess. Got the little grandpa visor that's got to get body worked. Underside of the bonnet made some progress, and the boot lid. So that's all looking lovely. When you need a bog board that's quite a bit bigger than what you already had, this boot lid was an absolute nightmare, disaster. It was about as flat as an ocean. It was really, really beaten up, and I ended up having to skim the whole boot lid from one side to the other with filler, and then I end up using an entire tube of dolphin glaze in one go. I squeezed it all out onto this board and mixed up the hardener, and then proceeded to very quickly mix it all up and then just pour it straight onto the boot lid and then smear it out one side or the other, because basically you need to, if you can do it, skim it all in one go, because if you do a bit and then a bit, you actually end up with generally end up with hard to describe, but you get channels where the bog joins each other no matter how hard you try. But as it turned out, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but considering how bad it was, I would have said it's quite passable now. So progressing. This next week is the last week we work on the XD, because life just needs to resume. I need to do some rust repairs on the EJ. I need to get back into, we'll probably be doing that coupe immediately after this, and the De Tomaso will be coming in fairly shortly after that. And we also have a ton of space back, which is awesome. So everything is progressing. Can't quite remember what else I had to update everybody on, but I have been quite nicely hooked into RC cars, and it's been quite a stress relieving hobby. Also, side note, the XB sale fell on its face, so I will be putting that in a car auction coming up shortly to move it right along. So if you chaps missed out on that, you can potentially have another shot at it. I need to really shift it along because I've got a few too many projects on the go, and I need to finish a few of them, as you might notice. The other Commodore. I actually want to pump a ton of money into this EJ. You know, I've got a few things on my plate. So that's where we're at, and also we need to get back into this Landau shortly, and the XW that's way over there. So this is progressing along nicely. Looks alright with the bumper bar on. We didn't have any proper bumper bar brackets, so we had to modify tow bar brackets and cut the tow bar out of it and mount the bar using tow bar brackets. So I think the bar might be ever so slightly further out than it should be if it didn't have a tow bar versus factory tow bar. So it's neither here nor there, but it's on and it does look good. So hopefully I will see the end of this car and I won't have to look at it ever again, because it is starting to stress me out because it's dragging on way longer than I ever thought possible. But it is nearing the end. And obviously we've got to get onto the blue Landau at home, because that's its boot lid there, and get that happening. And I need to get that down from the wall, because that's the bonnet for Peter's EJ. So there's a lot happening. I know a lot of people want me to get more rust repair videos happening, but I've got to get this XD shifted out of my life before I can do that. So don't worry, there will be some. We're doing door skins, dog legs, and all sorts of jazz on that. And finishing this, I still need a radiator condenser and a few things. But considering that was a surprisingly fun job, for me anyway. So, turned out rather well. Just got to get the panels painted and it's all good. So, that'll be a wrap up. The workshop's looking a lot better. It's also got a nice coating of bog dust over everything, which doesn't make me that thrilled. But I shall leave you there, chaps, and I'll catch you up on the next one.